Have you ever caught yourself endlessly scrolling through social media without even noticing time passing by? Or maybe you've stayed up all night binge-watching series or gaming, promising yourself you'd sleep early but always putting it off for later? It's like no matter how much you know this isn't healthy, you still feel trapped in this cycle. And every time you try to stop, it seems to get even harder, doesn't it? But what if I told you that you can change this right now? That there's a way to break this cycle, and instead of wasting time with habits that lead you nowhere, start gaining more control over your life and your goals? It doesn't have to be a lonely battle, and you're not alone in this journey. Today, you're going to learn how to break free from any addiction and live the life you've always dreamed of. I know it sounds tough. Maybe you're having doubts, maybe you've tried before and failed, but what if I told you that you could be the next success story? Stay with me, because what you're going to learn today might change your life forever. Have you ever felt trapped in a cycle of dependency? Whether it's your phone, social media, alcohol, tobacco, or even self-destructive behaviors. Or maybe you have a habit that makes you feel bad, but you just can't let go. Do you feel like your performance, your health, and even your relationships are being compromised, but the will to change doesn't seem to be enough? I get it, and that's exactly why we're here. Because more than ever, we need to understand that our addictions don't define us, and change is within our reach. In this video, I'm going to show you a clear path to leave any addiction behind. I'm going to share proven strategies that can transform your behavior and help create a new mindset of freedom. And I know you can do this. Because deep down, we all have the power to change. You just need to understand how. Look, let's be real here. You're probably thinking this is just another motivational speech, right? Another guy telling you to just stop doing what you're doing. But here's the thing, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. If you want real change, you need to face some uncomfortable truths. Your addiction isn't just a habit. It's not something you can just wish away. It's literally rewiring your brain, making you a prisoner in your own mind. Every single day you feed that addiction, you're digging yourself deeper into a hole. And the worst part? You know it. You feel it, but you keep doing it anyway. Now, let's talk about what makes an addiction so damn hard to overcome. At its core, it's all about mental and chemical patterns in our brain. Every time you give in to the addiction, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel good. The problem? Addiction is like a cycle that never ends, because your brain starts needing that substance or behavior just to feel normal. So instead of pleasure, you start feeling a constant emptiness, and that emptiness can only be filled by the same thing that caused the problem in the first place. But what if you knew how to break this cycle? How to start feeling good about yourself without depending on external things? Let's talk about that. Your brain is basically being hijacked. Think about it. Every time you reach for your phone, every time you light that cigarette, every time you open that bottle, you're not really in control. Your addiction is. It's calling the shots. It's deciding what you do with your time, your energy, your life. And here's what really gets me angry about this whole situation. Society tells you it's okay. Social media companies literally hire teams of neuroscientists to make their apps more addictive. Alcohol companies spend billions making drinking look cool and fun. Gaming companies design their products to keep you hooked for hours. They're profiting off your addiction while you're sitting there feeling guilty and weak. Well, guess what? You're not weak. You're fighting against billion-dollar industries that have weaponized psychology against you. But that doesn't mean you can't win. Let me tell you about someone I know well, and maybe you'll relate to his story. His name is John, and he was always a huge fan of online gaming. The fun started innocently, like it does for many people, but over time he realized he was spending hours and hours on the computer. He started neglecting other important things like work, friends, even his health began to suffer. What started as a distraction became an addiction. The problem was that he found himself immersed in a cycle of just one more game, or just one more match, until he realized dawn had arrived and he had lost an entire day. He knew he was wasting time and that it was hurting his goals, but he didn't know how to get out of this cycle. He tried, went days without playing, but soon returned to the same routine. John's story isn't unique. In fact, it's the story of millions of people around the world. Young guys spending 12, 14, 16 hours a day in front of screens, missing out on real life, real relationships, real achievements, living in a fantasy world while their actual world crumbles around them. But here's where John's story gets interesting. The turning point came when he realized that online gaming was giving him something he was not getting anywhere else: a sense of control and achievement, something he wasn't getting in real life. It was at that moment that John had a major breakthrough. He decided to gamify his life. Instead of looking for ranks and achievements in a virtual game, he decided to seek achievements in the real world. He started applying the same discipline, the same dedication he used to achieve victories in games, to reach his daily goals. Every goal achieved in real life became an achievement within his own personal game. Every completed task was like leveling up and earning a trophy. The difference? The rewards were more real, more lasting, and actually transformed his life in concrete ways. This is what I'm talking about. This is the mindset shift you need. Stop looking for cheap dopamine hits from your phone, from games, from whatever substance you're using. Start chasing real achievements, real growth, real progress. He started challenging himself to improve his health, develop new skills, and work with more focus. And so he replaced the temporary pleasure feeling of a game with a lasting and gratifying pleasure that only real achievements can offer. But let's be honest here. John didn't just wake up one day and become this motivated machine. He had to go through hell first. He had withdrawal symptoms. He felt anxious, depressed, angry. His brain was literally screaming at him to go back to gaming. And for the first few weeks, every single day was a battle. This is what nobody tells you about beating addiction. It's not just about willpower. It's about rewiring your entire brain. It's about changing who you are at a fundamental level. And that process is painful as hell. Now, I'm going to give you the steps to start breaking free from any addiction. I'll speak simply, as if we were having a conversation, because what matters is that you can apply this to your life. First of all, accept that you have an addiction. This isn't easy, but it's the first step. Without accepting that the addiction is controlling you, change won't happen. It's like you're on the road but don't know where you're going. If you don't know you're lost, you won't look for a map. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself it's not that bad. Stop comparing yourself to people who are worse off than you. If something is negatively impacting your life and you can't stop doing it, that's an addiction. Period. Own it. The next step is understanding why you have the addiction. In John's case, he felt like he was controlling something in the game that he couldn't control in real life. This doesn't mean he had to give up what he loved, but rather understand what that addiction was giving him. So think about your addiction. What is it offering you that you're not getting in other aspects of your life? Maybe you scroll social media because you're lonely. Maybe you drink because you're stressed. Maybe you smoke because you're anxious. There's always a reason. Always a void you're trying to fill. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. That void will never be filled by your addiction. Never. It will only get bigger. After that, the next thing you need to do is replace the addiction with something positive. If you're stopping gaming, for example, how about starting to practice a sport or learning a new skill? You can start with something simple, like reading, learning to cook, or even finding a new hobby. The point is fill that void with something that helps you grow as a person. But here's where most people mess up. They think they can just remove the addiction and leave nothing in its place. That's like tearing down a building without having blueprints for what you're going to build instead. You need to have a plan. You need to have something you're moving toward, not just something you're running from. The fourth step is seeking support from people around you. You don't have to do this alone. Talk to friends, family, or even someone who has been through something similar. This will give you not only strength but also accountability to continue. But choose your support system carefully. Don't tell your drinking buddy that you're trying to quit alcohol. Don't tell your gaming friend that you're trying to stop playing. They're going to try to drag you back down, either consciously or unconsciously. Find people who genuinely want to see you succeed. And most importantly, don't give up at the first difficulty. It's going to be hard at first. There will be moments when you'll want to go back to the addiction, but every time you manage to resist, you'll be closer to winning. John, for example, when he felt like playing, would take a break and go for a walk. Simple, but effective. Here's something else that's crucial. You're going to fail. Let me say that again. You are going to fail. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, you're going to relapse. And when that happens, most people use it as an excuse to give up completely. Don't be most people. When you fail, and you will, get back up immediately. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait until next month. Don't wait until next year. Get back up the same day, the same hour if you have to. Remember, each person has their own pace and their own method of facing an addiction. Maybe for you, meditation or writing in a journal makes more sense. Or maybe you prefer to find a mentor who can help you stay focused. The important thing is to find what works for you and mainly allow yourself to try different approaches. Will it be difficult? Yes, probably. There will be moments when you'll want to give up. But the key is to keep going. And if you fail, don't blame yourself. Use failure as learning and move forward. Remember, every day is a new opportunity. But let's talk about what happens when you actually beat this thing. When you finally break free from whatever's been controlling you. The confidence that comes from knowing you can overcome something that seemed impossible. The respect you'll have for yourself. The time and energy you'll have for things that actually matter. Imagine waking up and not immediately reaching for your phone. Imagine going through an entire day without that constant urge to check social media, to have a drink, to light a cigarette. Imagine actually being present in your own life instead of constantly trying to escape from it. That's what freedom looks like. That's what you're fighting for. Not just the absence of addiction, but the presence of genuine fulfillment. Real relationships, real achievements, a real life that you're actually living instead of just surviving. I want you to know you have the power to change. You have the power to create the life you want. No matter how much the addiction seems to trap you, you can take the first step right now. And it's at that moment that transformation begins. Your addiction wants you to believe that you're powerless, that you're weak, that you'll never change. But that's a lie. The fact that you're watching this video, the fact that you're even thinking about change, proves that there's still fight left in you. So here's what I want you to do right now. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. I want you to take one small action that moves you away from your addiction and toward the person you want to become. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Delete that app from your phone. Pour that bottle down the drain. Throw away those cigarettes. Cancel that subscription. Whatever it is, do something today that your future self will thank you for. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Nobody's coming to save you. Your parents aren't going to fix this for you. Your friends aren't going to do the work for you. The government isn't going to ban whatever you're addicted to. This is on you. This is your fight. This is your life. And you know what? That's actually good news. Because if it's your fight, that means you get to choose how it ends. You get to decide whether you're going to be another statistic or whether you're going to be someone who actually took control of their life. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The life you want is waiting for you on the other side of this addiction. All you have to do is take the first step. Now, I want to hear from you. What addiction are you ready to leave behind? Which of these tips are you going to put into practice? Leave me a comment, share your experiences, and if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content that will help you reach your goals. Remember, change starts with a decision. The decision to act. Let's go on this journey together.